Welcome back to the Kyle Olson Show. Joining me now is Amy Maurer, who represents the 15th District on the Kenosha County Board of Supervisors. So, Amy, I visited your county Thursday for Joe Biden's visit there. But first, let's talk about the latest about what's being done to address the rioting and destruction that occurred in your county.
Well, we had a massive influx of law enforcement from all over. Federal agencies, the Wisconsin National Guard, and National Guard from several other states as well. Over 1,000 National Guard, and I think over 400 other law enforcement officers from the ATF, Homeland Security, different county sheriffs, and so on. So after speaking with some of our local law enforcement, when the other out of town law enforcement showed up, they were able to play offense, if you will, and actually stop protecting buildings and start really cracking down on people rioting and gearing up to riot.
What did you find in the information that you have access to? Were these locals that were rioting? Were they from out of town? Can you address that?
I think so. One of the figures, the last figure that I received was from August 23rd to August 30th, there was 175 arrests, and 110 of them were from outside of Kenosha County. And I had seen myself a caravan of rioters coming from the Milwaukee area because they were coming from the north. Our law enforcement had closed the interstate, the Kenosha exits on the interstate. So they were exiting in the next county to the north and heading down one of the state highways that was near my house. So I actually witnessed, it was a caravan of at least 70 cars.
Oh, wow.
with their license plates taped out. They were all driving kind of in a pack and with their hazards on, hanging out the windows and such. So that was, you could tell, it was definitely from out of town.
Interesting. And I covered earlier in the show that I was in your county on Thursday for former Vice President Joe Biden's visit there. But there was quite a contrast between the visits of President Trump on Tuesday and Joe Biden's visit on Thursday. What was your reaction to those?
Well, on the county board, myself and a few of the other supervisors had put out a letter to President Trump asking him to not cancel his visit to us after our governor had asked him not to visit. And I did get flack from that, but my reaction to the negativity was, I don't care who comes as long as they bring help. I don't care if they have an R or a D after their name. As long as they're bringing some kind of aid and help to the areas that were hit in my community, I don't care. I don't think Joe Biden brought any help. This was a campaign stop for him. And President Trump committed, I think it was $4 million while he was here, $1 million just to the downtown Kenosha Association to help the businesses get back on their feet, and then $4 million that was going to be, I don't know if it was tax incentives. It was different things. So for Joe Biden to come and it was kind of a waste of time, in my opinion.
What do you think? And as I said, I was outside there. A lot of angry people who I don't think they were not there to support Joe Biden. They were there to, deliver a message, and it was a Black Lives Matter message. But there were, I think, similar to the data that you just shared about the arrests, it seemed to me that there were a number of people who were not locals. And in fact, there was a situation that I caught on the live stream that I was doing for Breitbart, and a guy came over to me who said, "This is not the way we do things in Kenosha. This is not how we behave, etc." And the woman who was creating the scene, her license plate said North Carolina. And so I think it's really important because you've got this sort of situation, that an incident that happens like this, and then suddenly you have people from all over coming in to sort of pile on and create trouble or make a political point or whatever. So what do you think the residents of Kenosha County want the solution to be?
Well, I can tell you for a fact, as there was a video almost immediately when the day that Governor Evers accepted President Trump's help of federal help, of more federal law enforcement coming in. So there was a video locally here of just a citizen recording police stopping a vehicle with, it was either Oregon or Washington license plates. They had been filling up gas containers, multiple gas cans at a gas station, which had been used in previous nights almost as bombs. They would light them on fire and then throw them. So in this local citizens video, it was of law enforcement busting out windows of the car, arresting them right there on the street. And I can't tell you how many people cheered for that. How many local citizens were so happy and relieved to have help finally arrive. And multiple people that I know, people that I work with, even people that weren't even in the areas that were hardest hit, couldn't sleep the whole week because nobody knew if it was going to be coming to their neighborhood soon or not. Especially the people that lived more in the city surrounding the areas hardest hit. There was just no sleep to be had. It was terrible. And then, everybody's stomach is in knots too for what's going on in our community. We're a small community. We're not Portland. We're not a large town. So it really hit our town hard.
And that's, I think, the situation now is that, it's been Portland, it's been Seattle, it's been Chicago, it's been New York, et cetera. It's been big cities. But now when you have a place like Kenosha hit, I think that sort of turns the notion that this is just, big city crime or big city, crazy radicals that are just, protesting or not protesting, that's attacking the police, rioting, looting, et cetera. But suddenly when you have that in a place like Kenosha, that changes the dynamics, because suddenly people realize if that can happen in Kenosha, it can happen in my suburban community. It can happen, pretty much anywhere. And so I think that's when the whole debate started to turn, and not to make it political, but I think that's when Joe Biden realized I can quickly lose control of this if I'm not able to, manage this situation, and suddenly people are now thinking it's going to come to their community. And so there's a lot of, I think, people too who they don't want the police defunded. And there was there in Kenosha yesterday, there were a lot of just very antagonistic activists. I mean, I saw several, Black Lives Matter activists. They were, within 1 foot of a police officer's face, and they were flipping him off, and they were cursing him out. And I mean, it's just, ugly, nasty behavior. And that's not what people want. They want justice for Jacob Blake. They want justice in that entire situation, regardless of, who is ultimately held accountable. That's what they want. They don't want their community burned down. Amy Maurer is on the Kenosha County Board of Supervisors. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.